this video, I'm going to explain the ending of the Tomb Easter egg, as there are a lot of hidden details you definitely missed, and our first teaser towards DLC 3, where we're going to be visiting Richtofen's mansion. There is a ton of incredible lore to go through that involves Richtofen, Samantha, the chaos story from Black Ops 4 zombies, and the earliest lore about the Dark Aether so far. So sit back, relax as I explain the entire ending. To begin this explanation, let me first play you the cutscene in its entirety and we'll go through it part by part.
Raptor 1, I'm at the LZ. Let's get the hell out of here.
There is more to be done now that you've secured the Sentinel Artifact. Bring it directly to me. I have gathered every available file on the history and previous uses of this ancient device. It appears several times in the historical record. Some date back to ancient Egypt. I have deciphered steps to activate and control it. The artifact requires an infusion of exotic materials. Unique elements that can only be harvested here at Liberty Falls. I have already ensured everything we need is ready for your arrival. You will see your lost Agent Maxis again soon. I'll be waiting.
After our characters take down the Sentinel Artifact, we fuse the amulet from Citadel Daymore and the Sentinel Artifact, and then successfully exfil with the Sentinel Artifact thanks to Raptor 1. Now, it's hard to ignore breaking down this cutscene without mentioning how disappointing it is that the characters do not speak whatsoever in the first half of the cutscene. Thankfully, the second half of the cutscene here with Samantha has an insane amount of storyline information which you will definitely miss on first viewings. The first line that Sam says is there is more to be done now that you've secured the Sentinel Artifact, and that she's gathered every available file on the history and previous uses of this ancient relic. As we start to see this 3D digital version of the Sentinel Artifact, we can identify that this is the Odin Sentinel Artifact, which was originally retrieved on the Voyage of Despair chaos map from Black Ops 4. Sam mentions that it has appeared several times in the historical record, and opens a file that explains the origin of the Sentinel Artifacts within the Dark Aether storyline, which we previously didn't know. It explains that ancient writings identify 4 known Sentinel Artifacts: the Odin Artifact, which is the one from Voyage of Despair, the Danu Artifact, which is from the Zombies map Dead of the Night, the Ra Artifact, which is from the Black Ops 4 Zombies map 9, and the Zeus Artifact, which is from the Black Ops 4 Zombies map Ancient Evil. Up until now, we hadn't known the origin of where these came from in the Dark Aether story, but this file goes on to explain that the origins of these Sentinel Artifacts suggested to be widespread early contacts with a dark dimension and a point of origin beyond the terrestrial realm, aka they are from the Dark Aether. We then get the revelation that some of the Sentinel Artifacts date back to ancient Egypt, where billions of years ago in the Dark Aether, the elder god known as Kortifex the Deathless, who was the main antagonist of Vanguard zombies as well as the announcer for Vanguard zombies, comes across the Sentinel Artifacts in the Dark Aether. Around 6,000 years ago, Kortifex the Deathless gives a Sentinel Artifact to an Egyptian leader, where in return granted this Egyptian leader power to control the undead and to give them immortality. To gain the power of a Sentinel Artifact, you have to initiate the Sentinel Artifact's trial, which this Egyptian leader had to do, but beforehand Kortifex mentions that there is an exotic material called Tempest that is needed in order for the ritual to begin. As Sam continues to open different files, we see one called Richtofen File 342, with Sam mentioning that the artifact requires an infusion of exotic materials, directly referring to this material called Tempest that Kortifex mentions to this Egyptian leader. At some point in time, Richtofen has learnt about this exotic material called Tempest, which has the ability to manipulate the asexual reproduction of cells, and that is visually what we see Samantha showing us with Richtofen's file. Now, the interesting part is that through intel, we also learn that Richtofen at some point realizes that this Tempest material can be harvested in Liberty Falls, with Samantha quoting that unique elements that can only be harvested here at Liberty Falls, explaining why we're going back to Liberty Falls in DLC 3, but also explains a lot more more of the importance of the Liberty Falls mansion. We get more explanation from Samantha about the backgrounds of this specific Odin artifact that we've acquired, where deciphering Alistair Rhodes' collection of texts and depictions of the artifacts led her to conclude that they function as batteries for gathering, storing, and manipulating the substance that came to be known as prima materia. As Sam opens up the Shem file 49, we can see the location is the Liberty Falls mansion. And looking at prior intel of Liberty Falls, there is an audio log where Blanchard suggests the man who built the mansion in Liberty Falls, known as Josiah Shem, knew about the dimensional weak spot, which is why the mansion was built around it. We get further intel from this map that suggests that at some point, something in the Dark Aether speaks to Josiah Shem, leading him to start a cult group. And we can see this referred to here in the Shem file 49, which says, "Mark my flock, your shepherd has heard the great voice from beyond, the voice that drew shamans and medicine men here for centuries before our arrival, the voice that designated us as its chosen, made us seize the serpent mound and build our dwelling upon it here in our mansion of eternal life. Shall the horned key open the way, breaking the bonds of mortality that we may dwell for our final heal and farewell to the flesh." All of this may finally connect with the weird appearance of a character called the Shadowsmith, which we see visualized in front of the Liberty Falls mansion in the finale of the Modern Warfare Zombies ending. Sam goes on to show us a visual map of where Liberty Falls is in between Pennsylvania, Washington, and North Carolina, as well as showing points for Portland and California, which could be important at some point in the future. But one very crazy detail between the transitioning of this continent map into Liberty Falls itself is that we see the wording for all of the different power-ups appearing on screen, such as Fire Sale, Insta-Kill, Full Power, as if to insinuate that potentially the Sam AI has been the one that has been supplying the power-ups to the crews throughout all of these maps. Now, ever since we saw the Liberty Falls intro cutscene, we've known that the Sam that's been talking to us is a completely different version of the original Samantha Maxis, with the memories from the original Samantha Maxis implanted into the AI. We see at the very end of the Liberty Falls intro cutscene that the Sam AI is trapped within the containment ball that the Forsaken was trapped in at the end of Cold War Zombies. But with the announcer for all of the Zombies maps in Black Ops 6 still being the Forsaken, even though he's trapped in the containment ball, these mentions of these power-ups could indicate that the Sam AI also has elements of the Forsaken fused within. Either way, we've known since the ending of the Terminus Easter egg that the Sam AI is not to be trusted. We know that she has banished Richtofen into the Dark Aether, has deceived the crew this entire time, mentioning that he was already in Avalon trying to get the Sentinel Artifact, hence why she told our characters to go to Citadel Daymore and the Tomb. And realistically, since she is an AI that has been created by Richtofen himself, the motives of this AI are only to deceive and decept the crew under the false pretense that all of the things they're doing are going to bring the real Samantha Maxis back, when we already know from Modern Warfare Zombies cutscenes that Grey herself admitted on a video recording that they all went into the Dark Aether and tried their very best to save Samantha Maxis, but they couldn't and they failed. But in the final shots of this end cutscene, Sam mentions that you will see your lost agent Maxis again soon. I'll be waiting, with a mention of the mansion saying find the mansion. Now, throughout the second half of this cutscene, there are also secret hidden messages that the Sam AI displays throughout, such as this one that says have faith in chaos, which we can see written on Liberty Falls. She did this, potentially referring to Samantha. Eddie is a liar, which we also see written on Liberty Falls, which is a reference to Richtofen being a liar. All you need to find me. Nothing is lost if the memory remains, which is a direct reference to Samantha Maxis herself. Then the words, you must stop here. I love the fact that there are so many of these secret hidden details that you would definitely miss on the first watch. And these messages really come across like the real Samantha Maxis trying to warn our characters not to trust the Sam AI. But it seems like everything is going to come to a head in the next DLC map, that is the Janus Mansion. Hope you guys enjoyed this cutscene breakdown and found it useful. If you did and enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments and drop a thumbs up. If you want a full Easter egg guide for the tomb, then you can click it on your screen right now, where I'll be with you in just a moment.